Welcome back to another reading and correcting of The Used Child. With me, Kedar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. You want to listen to these live? I record them. It is every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Links is in the note. And today we are doing chapter 46. Tristan! Alex yelled again, only static. Alex cursed and checked the scanners again. The explosion had been close, but he didn't think it had done anything to damage the ship. The readout told him nothing other than wait, what? Other than that there were other than yeah, that's then there were a lot of ship out there actively scanning. Check the connection to the network. That was still there. Good. Whatever had disrupted the local comms hadn't been so broad as to affect the network. Also affected. You're right. I don't need that. He made sure the cameras were still broadcasting live and created a loop for the period of time Masters admitted he was behind all this. He wrapped it within the broadcasting ID, which would ensure every system picking it up would accept it, and was lucky, played immediately. More explosions, each one louder than the last, shook the ship. The connection with the network erupted with static. Alex fought to reestablish it. Those connections were vital for how SpaceGov and everything that ran with them. Those connections were vital for SpaceGov and everything that ran with them. Everything that ran with them. Systems. Everything that ran off those systems. So there were a lot of redundancies. It was just a question of finding the right frequency. He ignored the fighting. He was far enough from it, only he was far enough. He was far enough. It only accident. Wait, what? He was far enough from it. Oh, I see what I was from it. Only the accidental explosion would hit him. Connection stabilized and he checked the transmission. The closest node had refused it. The static had rendered the idea ineligible. Said it again, and this time confirmed it received it and bounced it everywhere. Now they had an extra layer of proof floating in the net. He caught motion on the screen showing him the entrance to the hangar where he was hiding. People were entering this hangar. Cursed, how had they found him? Why had they bothered looking this far from where the action was happening? He hung his head as realization hit him. As realization hit, he'd been in such a hurry to send out the loop of Master's admission of guilt that he'd sent it to the closest node. Gotten the merc ships would be able to intercept it. One of them would have noticed it came from the planet and tracked it to him. Stupid. Well, time to take advantage of what he'd done when he'd been angry. Computer, engage all weapon, link to scanners, and fire to anyone who doesn't match the scan of Alexander Bartholomew Crimson, Tristan, and Emil Rithal. Created a second loop of the admission and set it out. Why wasn't the ship firing at anyone? Checked, and there were people within range. Talk to me. Silence. Oh, come on, we're friends. He looked through the code. Just tell me what's going on. At least tell me where you aren't firing at them. Everything looked intact. The computer had cooperated the entire time. He'd reprogrammed it to act as a broadcasting rig. This had been done before. It should have worked fine. Check the screen. The mercs were being careful, moving slowly. He had time. He sat and got himself to the weapon program. Okay, what he'd installed there were gone. Antibodies had gotten to them. That was easily fixed. He rewrote the programs and set them in. He didn't reach the control. Something that had looked like mutant antibodies had fallen on them. He went looking for where they were coming from and found the code. They aligned. No play in it at all. Line after line, so well structured, they formed a wall of code churning out these antibodies. He set a program to stop them, but they had their own defense. He cursed. He needed to get through them if he was going to get the ship to defend itself. A light flashed among the code, a message light. Why was there a light in the code telling him he had a message waiting for him? He glanced away from the screen. Message light was blinking on the board. He accepted it. Hello, Tristan. Hello, Alex, Tristan said. He was seated at his seat. If you thought you could hide the changes you made on my ship, you're mistaken. You are posing an interesting challenge. I should shut you out completely for what you did, but you need access to the computer to do your job. So this is my solution. You have the computer lock you out only if you attempt to take control of it away from me. This is the last time you betray me, Alex. When I get back, we will have a talk. Alex stared at the blank screen. I'm trying to save your damned ship. Could go in and undo what Tristan had done. He had that. Oh, the new light began blinking on the board. Proximity alert. The mercs were now close enough to the ship they could do damage even with low-powered weapon. If you weren't so paranoid, keeping them out of your ship, this would have been easy. He looked at the feed from the warehouse as he put his gun belt. He put on his gun belt. There was little to see, just an explosion. He could make out bodies on the ground and some moving, but he couldn't tell who was who. He headed to the ramp and made peace with the situation. He was dead anyway, so maybe dying defending the ship would be a good way to tell Tristan, fuck you, that Tristan was wrong about him. Using the frame as cover, he fired on anyone who came into view. A dozen mercs, by his estimation. All he had to do was keep them from out of the ship until Tristan got here. The Somalian would deal with the rest of them. Alex berated himself. Did he want to die? Or for Tristan to rescue him? He wished he could make up his own damned mind. The hangar had little cover for the mercs to use, so bodies quickly littered the floor, but the numbers of advancing merc didn't seem to go down. In fact, the amount of fire Alex was taking seemed to be going up. Great, someone had called reinforcement. No matter, so long as he kept them at a distance, he was the one with the advantage. As he thought that, he noticed an arm appear by the wall he was hiding behind. Before he could react, something fell in the ship. Instinct had Alex run down the ramp, wondering just how badly Tristan was going to hurt him for getting the ship blown up. He threw himself down as a light flashed behind him, accompanied with a high-pitched whine, barely muffled by the hull. Stun grenade. Well, at least that meant the ship was intact. One less thing for Tristan to kill him over. He got to his feet and fired at the mercs in the distance, who were too busy looking for cover to shoot back at him. Okay, why weren't they shooting back? There were a lot of them. There were a lot more of them, and only one of him. One could get in a lucky shot, like whoever was attached to the arm that had thrown the grenade in the ship. He spun, but she was already too close for him to shoot her. So short blonde hair, green eyes, and then she had grabbed his arm. She twisted, forcing him to drop the gun. He moved with her to keep her from breaking his wrist. He spun, ended up on his back, pulled her down with him, put a foot to her stomach, and shoved. He leveled his other gun at her, but she hadn't lost her balance and kicked it out of his hand. He rolled away and pulled two large knife as he moved to a crouch, mono edge, so her armor wouldn't offer as much protection. He looked over his shoulder, and everyone was crouched, gun in his direction, but no one was firing. Alex smiled. So they were going to resolve this way? This is way? He stood. She pulled out a knife of her own, a slim stiletto with a glowing tip. Alex's smile broadened. Mono edge against laser? This was going to be a battle of skills, not weapons. She came at him. He sidestepped, slashed, but she'd already rolled away. Was back on her feet, and they circled each other. She had two or other sheaths with stilettos in them, and Alex could make out half a dozen locations she could hide less exotic knives. He feigned, laughed, and slashed her exposed side, but she blocked with his knife with hers. He took a step back, and they circled again. This was new. How had the part that wasn't laser not been cut with his knife? Short of laser itself, mono edge could cut anything. Even vibro knives were weaker. She came at him, but he blocked and used the closeness to hit her in the face with his elbow. She spat blood, snarled, lunged at him. He sidestepped, but felt pain shoot up his leg, accompanied by the smell of burning flesh. When they stepped away, she was holding a second stiletto, tip glowing and a wisp of smoke wafting off up. He put his weight on his leg and found the pain minimal. A grazing cut. She smiled at him, a vicious thing that promised pain. He ran at her, struck, she parried. He struck and she blocked his arm. He kneeled her in the stomach and she stepped back, wheezing. He came at her again. She raised her stiletto before her, but Alex didn't slow. He sidestepped only enough so it went into his side as he planted his knife into her side, angled to go between the ribs and pierce her heart. The stiletto burned a painful line as she fell and pulled it out. But he wouldn't bleed out, and nothing vital had been hit. The silence stretched, letting the sound in the distance, the sound of the distant explosion reach him. A man stepped forward. "Don't move." Alex watched him. Hard face with a scar running from scalp to jaw. Gray hair, so short it was almost not there. The gun he was holding, pointed at Alex's chest, was large. It looked deadly. "You're the Somalian's accomplice. Where's the kid?" Alex smiled. Well, this time he didn't deserve to be called. This time he did deserve to be called that. He looked the mercs over. 15 of them, men and women in varying armor. They might be part of the same group, but Alex didn't think so. He didn't know any large mercenary team. They were letting this man take the lead because of the authority he exuded. You're worth more alive than dead, but believe me when I tell you, I have no problem bringing back a corpse if you force my hand. Alex smiled. "Oh, I'm dead. There's no avoiding that anymore. Look, kid, just hand over the knife. There's no need for you to die." Need? It's not need. It's just the way things are. I haven't given him a choice. You warned me over and over, but I thought I could. Shrug. I don't know. Redeem him? Save him? Kid, there's no way you can take us on. There's no way you can take us on. Hold on. Wait, what? Kid, there's no way you can take us all on. You can take on all of us. Take on all of us. Put the knives down. You? You think you're going to kill me? Alex chuckled. Then he laughed. He shook his head. He's going to kill me. Already has. Broke my heart a long time ago. He's just taking his sweet time finishing the job. Kid, don't. Alex with a knife on each side of the man, and he ran in his direction, pulling two more out, pulling out two more, pulling out two more, pulling out two more. Feeling the one in his left hand vibrate, he zigged and zagged, making it difficult to be hit. The man looked at him in disbelief. Resignation came over him and he aimed. Alex threw himself as the man fired. He felt the heat on his left side, but he crashed into the man. The vibro knife oh. Resignation came over him. His face as he aimed. Alex threw himself. As the man fired, felt the heat on his left side, but crashed into the man, the vibro knife going into his chest, while the polycarbon one slid off the armor. Alex rolled off him, leaving the knife in and pulling out another. He turned it on, and the edge glowed. He ran, careless of the people firing at him, and slashed the closest merc. Her arm fell to the ground. He weaved and bobbed, causing more to shoot each other as he went after his next target, laughing. He was dead. But at least he was going to have fun until that happened. This concludes chapter 46 of The Used Child. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next one is going to be posted, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the book as well as the other in the series, they are available on all major e-retailer. If you want to support me, that's on Patreon, where you can also get access to just about everything I've written. And if you want to listen to these live, it's on Twitch every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The links are in the notes. But I shall wish you a good day.